Hey, what's going on, guys? So, I wanted to go ahead and talk about this submarine story because I think it's just such a crazy and wild thing that we're seeing. A bunch is going on. Number one, I didn't even know they allowed submarines to go 14,000 feet into the water. That just sounds like ridiculously deep, right? That sounds scary to me. Like I know for me, and the reason why I'm covering this is because me and my girlfriend actually went in a submarine, so we know exactly kind of what it feels like. Me and my girlfriend went on a trip to Hawaii this year, February of this year, and we had a great time. And we actually went into a submarine because they have like submarine tours and stuff like that. And when we went into the submarine tour, we only went down 100 feet. These folks went down 12,500 feet, which I couldn't even imagine. As a matter of fact, I would never do something like that. That's just too much for me. Apparently, these are submarine rides for rich people, so you got to pay $250,000 per ticket. And basically, they take you down to see the Titanic, the actual real life wreckage of the Titanic, which is crazy because apparently this is off the coast of Canada, which I had no idea that the Titanic took place in the coast of Canada. I really didn't know. But some of the key facts that really interested me about this case is I've watched a couple news segments with some like marine life experts, and basically they were saying that there is a very slim chance that they are going to find a submarine. Obviously, we hope that a miracle happens. We hope to God that they find a submarine, and prayers go out to all the families that are affected by this. This is absolutely sad and just a tragedy. Apparently, the search area that they're searching through is as big as the size of the state of Connecticut. That's how big it is. So just imagine this. Imagine the state of Connecticut. Think of how big that is. Think of how big it is just for you to drive from where you live to like I don't know, like the nearest city or something. Like I don't know, like the search area is the size of an entire state, and that's what they have to work with. Oh, by the way, we've only got about 48 more hours until they're dead. They're literally going to run out of oxygen in about 48 hours. They have to find them between now and basically the middle of the day on Thursday. That's a very short amount of time. Absolutely scary. I'm going to go ahead and play this news segment by CBS News, and I'm just going to kind of go ahead and react to it and just give my thoughts because it's just such a sad and crazy situation. Here we go.
So for more on the missing submersible and rescue efforts, we want to bring in Butch Hendrick. He's joining us now. He's the president and founder of Lifeguard Systems, which conducts dive training for public safety officers. And he's not involved in this specific rescue.
Okay, so that's who he is. Let's go ahead and skip to like the actual like stuff. Here we go.
Because, yes, we know that it entered the water at a given time. We know that it had a basic life support system for 96 hours. And we know its project was to go to the bottom at 12,500 feet to be at the Titanic. Approximately 90 minutes after its launch, entering the water, it lost communication. It's very possible that by that period of time, it was already on the bottom, getting ready to view the Titanic, and it could have gotten itself entangled somewhere. Entangled, it's possible that its communication antenna was dislodged, broken, and they lost communication, and that they would still be reasonably possibly with another 40 hours of life support based on the information given.
So I do want to make it clear what he's talking about is when submarines go into the water, they have like these pingers that like send signals. So when you're searching for them, you should be able to find them because of the signals that they send out. However, what's happening here is they're not even getting a signal from the submarine, which really just kind of puts into perspective how hard it is for them to find it because they can't even get a signal. So they're really just out there like kind of blindly searching. Like they have no idea where to even look because they can't even get a signal, which is even crazier. This guy, this expert, is kind of giving an idea of why we possibly aren't getting a signal from the submarine.
The other scenario, which was put forth by a CBS Sunday morning correspondent, David Pogue, who actually was in that submersible a few years ago doing a story, is that something went horribly wrong. There was an infrastructure issue with the craft itself. And as you know, the pressures at those depths are incredible. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, most military type submarines generally don't dive any deeper than 1,500 feet. We're talking about almost 12,000 feet, I think, that the Titanic.
Did you guys just hear that? See, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. And that's what makes me think that stuff like this is stupid. Like they shouldn't even be allowing, I don't care how rich you are, they shouldn't even be allowing people to dive that deep. Did you guys just hear that? They said that military vehicles, military submarines, they don't even allow military submarines to go past 1,500 feet, yet they're letting rich people go all the way down to 12,500 feet. What the heck? And again, when me and my girlfriend rode the submarine in Hawaii, I was hesitant to do that. The only reason why I felt safe is because there were boats all around. There was the Coast Guard circling around and doing their thing when we went. And they told us that we were only going to go 100 feet under. So I'm like, okay, cool. We're only going 100 feet. Fine, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do 100 feet. I'm not going down no goddamn 12,000 feet. You were like you're so far deep in the ocean, you might mess around and see species of animals you've never even heard of. You might see stuff that even the scientists don't know. You might mess around and run into the Loch Ness Monster. It's just crazy to me that they would even allow this. Obviously, the reason why they allowed it is because of how much money they can make. I don't know what that company did to get the license or the okay from the government or whoever that would even allow them to go that deep. But obviously, that should have never been able to happen. They should never have even been able to go that deep. I don't care about the fact that you're going to charge a bunch of billionaires and rich people $250,000. They should have never been able to go that deep. That is absolutely insane that military vehicles can't even go to 2,000 feet below the ocean. And these folks went 12,000 feet. That is insane to me. And once again, I don't even know why anybody would even want to do that, because 100 feet was enough for me. But let's continue.
Titanic is at the bottom of the ocean there, and this might have happened at 9,000 feet, which I think is where they lost communications. At 9,000 feet, I can't imagine the pressure on the submersible there, and so it could have imploded.
It could have imploded. More likely, it could have leaked and flooded. Right. One of the things to kind of keep in mind, we see vehicles, automobiles that go in the water all the time on the news. A vehicle that goes in the water near shore is in 10 feet of water. That pressure differential over surface pressure is about.
I just want to show you guys this because I'm pretty sure that this is a picture of the submarine. I'm pretty sure that it is. And what's interesting is they said in the story that the submarine is about the size of a minivan. So not only are they sitting there, they're sitting there in very uncomfortable conditions. When me and my girlfriend got on the submarine in Hawaii, that submarine was ginormous. There was literally like 50 seats in there. Like there was a lot of seats. It was really long. I still have the videos. It was a really long submarine. That submarine was like, I'd say like the size of like maybe like 2 buses or something. I don't know. That submarine was really big and really long. Like it really was. This submarine looks very, very tiny. They look very, very cramped. Imagine being trapped for freaking like 48 to 52 hours or however long they've been down there in a very small space, cramped up like this in a submarine that's the size of a minivan. Can you just imagine? Like, not only are they going through what they're going through, the fact that they've been down there so long, God knows if they have any food or water, but they're also cramped. They're like, you're like claustrophobic. You know what I mean? Like you're like cramped in there. Like it's just an absolute nightmare. I just, you know, I hate to be that person, but I'm not the only person who feels this way. I've seen a lot of people on social media who are looking at this and they're like, you know, everything about this just doesn't really add up. Why would you get on such a tiny submarine where you're super closed in like that? Why are you going 12,500 feet below the ocean? Like it's the ocean. Most of the ocean is uninhabitable. We as human beings don't even know most about the ocean. Like there are parts of the ocean we can't even get to because the ocean is so deep. Why would you go that deep? It just, man, it's, you know, it's a very sad situation. It really is. Like they should have never been allowed to go this deep with such a tiny submarine.
5 pounds per square inch, and you cannot open the doors. The pressure is so great, we can't open a door until the water floods the interior. This, at 12,000 feet, it's 5,000 PSI greater than surface pressure. So the pressure of its own pressure, there's no opening a gate, there's no opening a window, there's no making an interactive lock. What we do look at is if it had a small leak, it's possible that the electrical system has been affected. And if that happened, then it may be again that they could still be alive, interior, and breathing, and hoping for someone to come and get them.
Now, sorry, the other thing that we mentioned is that they still are sort of trying to determine if perhaps it's on the surface. This submersible has several mechanisms to propel itself up to the surface.
Oh my God. So not only are they searching through a search area that is the size of Connecticut, they have no idea if the vessel is deep underwater or somewhere on the surface, which again, guys, it's going to be really hard. Even flying over that is going to be really hard to find people when it's the size of Connecticut. That's how big the ocean is. Like man, that is so sad. That really is crazy. I didn't even know that. So they don't even know if it's underwater or if it floated to the top. They don't know. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And when I first heard that, I thought, and the other thing is they can't get out. Even if they're on the surface, they can't get out because it's bolted shut from the outside. So it's important to find them. But I thought to myself, well, if it's on the surface, can't you just fly over? I mean, why can't they just visually see whether or not it's on the surface? Could weather conditions be making it difficult?
Well, it's also the surface area that they're searching is the
massive.
size of Connecticut or the country of Ireland, is
Right.
what I understand.
But you would have a ballpark area where they would be headed at least, right? I mean, what would make it difficult to identify them?
You can have a ballpark all you want, but if a search area is the size of a country, if the search area is the size of Ireland or the size of Connecticut, I mean, for crying out loud, let me see. How many, I don't know, what do I say? How many meters is the state of Connecticut? I have no idea what they use to measure states. Oh my God, I spelled Connecticut so bad. Let's see. Oh, square miles. There you go. There you go. Let's just look this up because it really does make sense when you look at it. So this is square miles, total area. Okay. Square miles. Let's look up Connecticut. Connecticut is, so it's not as big as some of the other states. You know what I mean? Like it's not as big as like Arkansas or Alaska or Alabama. It's not as big, but it's still really big. It is 5,543 square miles. They are flying their planes or helicopters, whatever, through 5,000 square miles. Just think of the drives you've made. Think of some of the long drives you've made where you've driven 100 miles or 50 miles. Think of how far that is. Now put that into perspective and imagine 5,000 miles. Oh my God. No wonder they can't find them. It makes perfect sense. That's such a large area. I don't think anybody has the manpower to be able to go. I mean, you would literally have to deploy like several thousand. You'd have to employ like tens of thousands of people to search that area. Like that is insane. And I'm sure they're doing everything they can, but man, that is crazy.
On the surface.
Well, right now, as I understand it, the winds are moving between 28 and 30 miles an hour. The sea is anything from 2 to 3 foot high with whitecaps. So it could be difficult, but you are looking at the individuals, the Coast Guard, United States, Canada, et cetera, that are out there. They're trained on how to see this. They're flying fixed wings aircraft. They're able to fly 100 miles square without in no time whatsoever. We are looking at the potential that if it drifted in current, it could be several hundred miles from where it entered the water. But again, looking at a fixed wing aircraft and the highly trained personnel that are in those aircraft searching, they know how to look for this. They'll be looking for they've also got equipment on deck that'll allow them to suddenly realize there's something on the surface besides the visual eye. Most likely it's not at the surface. Most likely it's subsurface. And we'd like to think that they still have 40 hours of life support. So being positive, and I'm sure that's what our Coast Guards and Canadians are doing, is telling their crew, we still have approximately 35 to 40 hours of life support. This is still a potential rescue. Keeping it positive will keep the crew at all levels working hard. As soon as we go to, well, we're not going to find it, it's over, the whole potential of the morale drops. When morale drops, we lose a whole massive part of that rescue. And again, you have to say that the Coast Guard, that's what they train for. They know how to keep their crew positive right up until they realize it's no longer a capability.
Can we talk about, and understanding that we know nothing at all about this, but what kind of, I guess, math and science goes into trying to...
All right, I think that's enough for now. So you guys get the point. This video is already 15 minutes long. No, but seriously though, I sincerely hope that they find them. This is a very sad situation. Definitely praying for all the families like there, involved. I couldn't even imagine having a family member on that vessel, and I'm hearing all these people come on and say, you know, the chances of them finding it are slim. We'll do everything we can. They only have 48 hours. I think the fact that they're racing against time would be the scariest thing for me if that was one of my family members. It's like knowing that they only have 48 hours to find these people or they're dead would be so heartbreaking and scary and frightening for me. And all I can say is I just hope and pray to God that they find these people. I hope that a miracle happens. I hope that they find the vessel. And yeah, I'll continue to make videos and keep you guys updated on this. I think this is an absolutely interesting but also scary and frightening story. And whatever the outcome is, I definitely think that there's something that could be learned from this, because one of the things I've always kept with me, I've always thought about, one of my principles is you don't mess around with water and ocean. And I know it's fun, I know it's great, but for me, when I went to Hawaii with my girlfriend, I was very careful. There were certain things that we just weren't doing. Like, I'm not snorkeling because there's plenty of people who get eaten by sharks when they go snorkeling. I'm not getting on one of those crazy boats that go all the way out to the ocean where you out there by yourself. And nope, I'm not doing that. I'm not going scuba diving unless we're close to the shore. I'm not going, you know what I mean? Like, there's just certain stuff. I'm not doing, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, the ocean is still mostly unexplored. There's still so much we don't know. And at the end of the day, when you're out there, you're prey. You know, you're not a predator. You're prey. That is the land of the sharks, the whales, and whatever else is out there. So anyway, I hope that they find them. And yeah, that'll go ahead and conclude today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.